The trail today is lined with flowers. Not sure if it is picked up on the camera. You can see it right on the sides of the trail. Purple flowers, white flowers. These cactus look like toes to me, or feet with toes. They've got nodules that look like toes, but then the toes turn into flowers. About 4.5 miles in, I just passed mile 96.5, headed southbound. And I changed into some dry socks in this 85, 90 degree weather. And it makes a great big difference. My feet are feeling wonderful. Gotta take care of your feet. For as much as this stretch of the Pacific Crest Trail from afar looks like a desert, the trail south of Montezuma Valley Road has a lot of wildflowers and looks a lot like a meadow, a 4-foot wide meadow. Today I've passed maybe about 6, maybe 7 hikers, and I'd say the median age is over 50. And the mean average too. So maybe it's a lot of people who are retired, who are long distance hikers on the PCT. I just turned around the corner and I see this relatively big mountain in the background. Trying to figure out what it is. I think it might be Mount Laguna. I am headed southbound, so might be something I would see from here. And there's like a tower or some type of a tall tree. Not quite sure. Oops. Right. Oops. There. I'm starting to get hungry for supper and look forward to heating up something. And if I remember correctly, it's going to be chicken tikka masala. A nice treat for the back country for me. Got about 1 more mile left to what I want to be my location, assuming it's not already taken. It's maybe getting close to 4 p.m., so I'd like to get to camp sooner rather than later, just so I can set up my tent, cook my food, heat up my food in a relaxed way before the sun goes down. this mountain that I thought was Mount Laguna. Because I'm northeast of Julian, and so Mount Laguna is probably the mountainous area that's on the horizon right here. That's a good 40 or 50 trail miles southbound. Overlooking a valley down there. I have a hunch it was pretty hot down there today, if not still. I'm not quite sure if I see something, maybe a road, or if it's just an empty valley. And are there some buildings right? There's a road, and I believe it's the S2, which I drove on from Scissors Crossing up to Montezuma to start my hike. And that might be the sheriff's office? I'm not sure. The sheriff's office was somewhere around there for this part of the county. I'm about 3/10 of a mile away from where I'm hoping to camp. I think it might be somewhere on top of this ridge, which means I'll have a fantastic view. But if it's windy, I might not be getting a lot of sleep. I think the forecast wasn't to be too windy tonight. So with this little cairn, I think this is the turnoff for where I want to camp. Oh, this might be my spot. Maybe this is. I'm gonna take a look around. I broke camp at around 9 o'clock. Maybe an hour or two after ideal, but it was still a good 3 hours earlier than what I did yesterday, starting probably around 12:30. But yesterday I had to drive in from San Diego. I counted that I have 4.5 liters of water left. Which puts me maybe 1.5 liters behind where I was hoping I would be. So when we get to the cache, or when I get to the cache, I'll probably go down and see if I can get a couple of liters of water. Even though I'm used to hiking in the desert, I underestimated when I figured 8.5 liters would be good for like 3/4 of a day, a full day, and a half day. It ended up being a little bit windy last night, so my tent was making some noises, and I didn't sleep so well for the first half. I made some adjustments, after which my tent was a little bit more taut, and I could sleep a little better. But still, no doubt, maybe I could have gotten up a little bit earlier if I had my tent a little bit more tight from the beginning. Looks like this might be a campsite here, very small and just off the trail. Otherwise, going down, trending down. It's nice. And there's been a breeze now and again. Keeps me from overheating. A little bit of a shade that we're walking through. That's pretty nice. Feels a little cooler. If I'm guessing, maybe we're down to mile 93.5. These miles, trail miles in this range, to me sound like radio station frequencies. Started at 101.2 yesterday. Although when I end at like 78, I think that's no longer FM. I think I'm getting closer to the third gate cache. Coming up at some point, it'll be a trail that goes down to a place where a trail angel puts water, like pallets of bottles of water, I believe, for hikers to take. And I haven't seen many roads recently. And I know, having looked at Google Maps, there are roads on the way towards the cache, like for the trail angels to drive the water over. It's a caterpillar on the side of the road. I wonder what kind of butterfly he's going to turn into. Looks like we're getting some cloud cover to filter out the sun. Down at the water cache, someone said they were expecting some clouds right around noon. Right now it's 10 to noon. It's a caterpillar. The other one was green with specks. This looks yellow and black. Both of them climbing things on the side of the trail. This looks like a marker to let you know, apparently a trail down to the S2 road, county road. I'm guessing this is a trail. Doesn't look like it's well traveled. Anyways, I'm gonna stop and take a break with whatever shade is here. Sock change time, going from stand-up paddle dog to mountain landscape. About 3.8 miles left to the campsite. Now we're going over to the west side of the mountain. And I'm feeling a breeze. It's a warm, hot breeze, but it still feels good. A bit of relief. About 2 miles to my camp spot. And while it's hot and dry, I'm doing fine. A person or two that I've passed going northbound has mentioned that it's been all uphill for them. Which, while I'm sympathetic to them, I'm happy. Bit of a relief, because that means it's downhill for me. Every once in a while, I'm coming across something that evidently had burned. Perhaps it's evidence of a wildfire having been here in years past. Because I think there could be some trees over there that look like they had burned. Only about 9/10 of a mile left to my campsite. It's a little bit after 2:30, so I don't expect it to be pool with lots of shade, but still, getting there, my destination for the night, and being able to unpack is great. And finishing my last 9/10 of a mile before saying I've hiked the entire San Diego County portion of the PCT is great. This rock in the background is the furthest extent that I hiked about a year ago with my brother-in-law. And that means I've connected all of my miles on the PCT. I've covered all of the miles on the PCT for San Diego County. So I'm reaching that personal milestone, and I'm happy. I got to my campsite maybe 30-45 minutes early, and I found a spot that this time of day at least has some shade, and I'm waiting for 4 o'clock, which is now only about 6 minutes away. And in the meantime, I've been able to lay down, which is something you do far and few between on the PCT, in my experience. Watching the clouds go by, but yet sitting in the shade. It's pretty nice. Okay, it's 6:45. I'm all packed up. I think it was like 64, 66 degrees out. And to quote one of the YouTube hikers I follow, Huck was here. Nothing left to do but hike. Sun is coming up in that direction over there. So I've been hiking for about coming up in an hour, another 10 minutes. So I've been hiking for about an hour, in another 10 minutes or so that'll be. Got about 2 miles in already. Still more shade than sun. I'm doing much better than yesterday and the day before in terms of getting out early. With any luck, I might be able to get back to my car before 11. For sure before noon. Because that's about when the really hot, relatively speaking, time of day kicks in. Yesterday, I left camp at around 9. And today was 6:45, just for comparison. It's about 8:15. and I've already done about 3.5 miles. Maybe about 4 more to go. Hiking this time of day is definitely the way to go compared to getting up later. Yesterday I still hadn't even started for another 45 minutes. And these 3.5 miles I've done really quickly with much less water. It's a good thing, something I'm learning. Like using a wider angle when walking. About 2.5 miles left, and it's still relatively cool, but I can already see 78 crossing from left to right, and that's the continuation of S2, which you can see going this way, heading back north towards Montezuma Valley Road. Really happy to have gotten an early start. This is definitely the time of day to hike during hot times of the year. One other thought, the way that these roads cross are scissors shaped, which my guess is how the area got its name as Scissors Crossing. This cactus in the middle of the screen is a barrel cactus. It's a sensitive species in San Diego. When it grows bigger, it gets to be something taller and I guess fatter like that guy there. They're kind of rare here. They're rare in San Diego, but here near Scissors Crossing, the barrel cactus seems to be everywhere. Pretty common. I can see the parking lot already. My car is still there. That's a good sign. We're still about 1.5, a little bit more than 1.5 trail miles away. And here you can see the Z shape, or almost like a scissors which I believe is how Scissors Crossing got its name. These guys are Palo Verde, I believe, which in Spanish is green stick. So this is where I leave the Pacific Crest Trail to head back down this wash towards the Scissors Crossing parking lot. If I was to continue going straight, that's southbound on the PCT. And hanging a sharp right turn here takes me down this wash. Where my vehicle waits. I started today, I think it was 6:45. It's about 10 after 10. So 3 hours and, I don't know, less than 30 minutes. That's good time. All by virtue of starting earlier in the day. All right, have a good day.